Thank you for joining Congressman Mike Flood's Town Hall here in Lincoln. My name is Kim Kwapnoski, a district representative for Congressman Flood, and it's an honor to host you here tonight. Before we begin, I want to explain the format. Very shortly, Senator Ballard will deliver a brief invocation followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Lincoln City Councilman Tom. After that, Jimmy Weber will lead us in God Bless America. After these items, Congressman Flood will deliver brief opening remarks before moving to questions and answers. There will be 2 question and answer options, and we'll alternate. There's an option to submit questions as you entered. The basket for questions is with Deb in the back or at the registration table. Deb, please, you raise your hand. Submit any remaining written questions to the basket during Congressman Flood's opening comments. If you haven't already, so just make sure you get them to Deb. There will also be an option to ask questions at the microphone. Taylor will stand at the front of the room on the left, your left, with the microphone, and Taylor will be standing right here. We will limit 30 seconds to help ensure we can get through as many people as possible. The microphone will go silent after 30 seconds. Taylor will have a timer that he will keep for you. Written questions and questions from the microphone will be alternated every 3 questions. I will draw questions from the basket, and so with that, we'll get to the point of the program and start with Senator Ballard, who will deliver the invocation.
Thank you, Kim. Will you please bow your heads with me? Heavenly Father, we come before you with gratitude for the gift of freedom that we enjoy as Americans. We ask for your blessing on this town hall, and that each of us will recognize the dignity that you place in every one of us. We pray that you will guide our words and our actions and our dialogue, and we just thank you for Congressman Flood and his heart of service. We just pray this all in your heavenly name. Amen.
Good evening. I'm Tom Duden with the Lincoln City Council. If you would, could you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Hello, friends. My name is Jimmy Weber. It's an honor to see all you tonight. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. Sing it with me if you know it. From the mountains, beautiful, to the prairie, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Well, good evening, Lincoln. Thank you very much for being here tonight. I want to thank Bo and Tom and Jimmy. Jimmy's had a long career in the United States Air Force from the Bellevue area, And I've seen and heard him perform before. He's been at the Final Four. He's performed in Omaha, all over the place, and it's an honor to have him here tonight. And it's an honor to have each of you here tonight. I know that many of you stood in line for a long time. I know that many of you have made this a point to be here. And here's the deal. And I said this before in Columbus, and I said it in Seward. And between Seward and Columbus, we've had well over 900 people come to these events. And tonight, my guess is we'll be at 750. I want to thank UNL for allowing us to be in the Kimball Recital Hall. And the thing that I want to impress upon you is no matter if we agree or we disagree, the fact that you're here tells me that you care. You care about your state, you care about this city, and you care about this nation. And so I want to show you the respect, and I want to give you a short introduction to some of the things that I've been working on, and then I will take your questions. I will stay until 6:30 tonight. Actually, to be clear, 6:27. This is being broadcast, and we have a start cutoff at 6:27. So let's just get right into it. You know, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate being here with you. And I will also tell you, I hold myself to the standard of being accessible. I did a telephone town hall last week. I'm here tonight. If you have a question, every single person that calls into my office, I get a printout the next day. I read every single summary of every single call. It helps me do my job better. Sometimes I have the ability to call people back and say, hey, give me more information, or this looks like casework. Let's take care of you. Tonight, you're going to have that same opportunity. And if you do have something that requires the help of one of our staff members, Carter, can you wave your hand? He's around here. We've got Deb Shore, who's over here. She's the district director. We've got Monica's here. We'll get you directed over to them, and we'll take it from there, and we will follow up with you. I'm very pleased to say that every direct question that I've had from one of my town halls, I've been able to follow up directly and be able to solve whatever casework they had, or at least get them an answer. So with that, and I know this is probably going to be met with some resistance, I want the opportunity to tell you and talk to you about health care in the bill we just passed. I want to go right into this bill because I know this is something a lot of people have questions about. And quite frankly, from where I sit, there's been a lot of misinformation out there about the bill. Okay, let's start here. The first thing, and for those watching tonight, and I know we have a television audience out there that's also wanting to hear answers to some of these questions. So in deference to them, please let me tell you why I voted the way I voted, and then we will take your questions, and you will have an opportunity to get answers. First thing, we have two separate programs. We've got Medicaid and we've got Medicare. There's a lot of people in this country that don't know the difference, and I'm not saying it for any reason, between Medicare and Medicaid. So let's review. With Medicare, it's available to people over the age of 65 for their health care, regardless of their income. This is a promise and a contract between you as an American and your country, and we did not make changes to the Medicare program. So if you're watching this, and let's say you're 78 years old and you hear Medicare, you need to know you will not see any changes. And the reason I think this is important, and this is because I know there are questions about Medicaid, and we're going to get to those. But there are a lot of very good people of advanced age that hear some of the rhetoric about the bill, whether it's true or not, and they think it's going to take their health care, and they're 78 years old, they're on Medicare, and if you're watching tonight and you get Medicare, you do not have to worry about changes to your program, okay? So let's go to the next slide. Here's the other thing that you have to know. And I cannot take credit for this. Your governor, Jim Pillen, and your legislature, I think you're going to like what I'm about to say. They passed a bill to get Nebraska's hospitals $700 million in Medicaid funding in the coming fiscal year. As your congressman, I worked to help get the CMS application approved by CMS, Center for Medicaid and Medicare, and it was approved in June before the big beautiful bill was passed. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that St. Elizabeth's is going to get an additional $24 million next year, and that money is not tied to fees for service. It means the Norfolk Hospital is going to get $10 million. It means that the West Point Hospital is going to get $3.5 million. So when you talk about Medicaid, I can tell you, we're going to see an influx of money into Nebraska hospitals. The other thing I want to share is that there was talk about a medical clinic in Curtis closing. First of all, it was not a hospital. Second of all, it had 4 patients a day. And third of all, the bill had not even been signed yet, and any changes don't apply until 2027. The other thing that the big beautiful bill did, the only way we're going to get through tonight is if I get a chance to tell you why I voted, because ultimately I represent you, and you will have your say. Okay. The other thing that we worked on very hard, and something that I personally invested a lot of time into, was making sure we could get a $50 billion fund, for rural hospitals. $50 billion. Places like Scotts Bluff and David City and Falls City and Pawnee City. I am planning to bring CMS officials to Lincoln, to Nebraska, so that our Nebraska hospitals can tell them about some of the challenges that we do have. The next slide talks about the 2 big changes. The next slide talks about 2 big changes to the Medicaid program. One of those changes is that if you are able to work and you are able-bodied, you have to work. If you choose not to work, you do not get free health care. You do not get free health care. Okay. So here's a question. Do you think that people who are 28 years old that can work and refuse to work should get free health care? I don't think that a majority of Nebraskans agree with you. The other thing that I think is important to remember is that any changes we make to the Medicaid program does not involve anybody that's disabled, that is of senior age and unable to work, anybody that is pregnant, or the vulnerable. Those are important things to know. The other thing in the bill that I think you need to know is if we didn't pass the big beautiful bill, it would have been a $1,600 tax increase to every Nebraska family. That is a true middle-class tax cut. Next slide, please. These are the other important parts of the one big beautiful bill. Next slide, please. No taxes on overtime. We've had this conversation before, as I recall, and we shared this in Columbus. if we adopted the Democrats' plan to tax the rich, if we adopted the Democrats' plan in the last Congress to tax the rich, it would generate $50 billion, which does not take us close to where we're going, and it cuts job creation, it cuts business creation, it cuts the ability for employers to invest in their businesses. The other thing that I think is important, obviously, increase the standard deduction, child tax credit, and one of the things that I know Lincoln and the city of Lincoln is working very hard on, especially Mayor Larian. Sir, I get that you want to have this conversation with me, but there's a lot of people here that waited in line that want to hear the answers. All right, next slide. Something that I also think is important, if you're a farmer or rancher in this state, you want to be able to pass your farm on to the next generation, and that means you can't sometimes pass the farm on to the next generation without paying a massive tax. So we upped this federal state tax exemption. And by the way, there's a lot of farmers in this state that don't have a lot of cash in the bank, but they've got a lot of land that they will never, ever, ever sell because that land is their family. That land is their family, and we protected that. And that matters in Nebraska. And the last thing that I want to say, we increased the safety net for farmers at $59 billion. And finally, an additional $2.7 billion for disaster assistance. Those are the things that I wanted to share with you as to why I voted for the One Big Beautiful Bill. I truly believe that this bill will allow America to experience growth, that it will allow our communities to thrive, that it will spark our economy, that it will help farmers and ranchers, that it will take care of the vulnerable, and more than anything, I truly believe this bill protects Medicaid for the future. We protected Medicaid. We protected Medicaid. Nebraska hospitals now have the money to be able to operate, whether it's David City or West Point or Lincoln or Omaha. And I'm here tonight to tell you that's why I voted for that bill. All right, with that, Kim, let's go ahead and take questions. And here's what I would say. I totally understand that you may disagree with what I'm saying, but if somebody has a question, let's let them ask the question without interrupting them. Because they are standing in line, they are here to get an answer, and we will do it.
Okay, so we'll start here with the questions. Congressman, we'll start here with the first question.
Okay.
All right.
I need you to be calm for just a second. I need to be able to hear the question. So.
Okay, first question. How could you vote for the big, beautiful bill knowing that it would increase the national debt by $3 to $4 trillion? And then please don't say that economic growth will cover it.
Well, the reality is we need to increase our GDP in order to get out of the mess we're in with the debt. So we cut almost $2 trillion out of federal spending, plus the extension of the tax cuts, plus the no tax on tips. So let's go back to President Obama in 2012. You're going to agree with me when I'm done. So back in 2012, President Obama extended the Bush tax cuts, and the CBO baseline score was calculating the tax cuts going away, and the Obama White House said, no, we disagree with that. So many of you that are in the Democratic Party have to look at how consistent we are and where we're at with the CBO. And the reality is, when President Trump passed the 2017 tax cuts, we saw explosive growth in this country. We saw explosive growth. COVID slowed our progress for obvious reasons. But the way CBO is scoring this was objected to President Obama in 2012, and it's being objected to by President Trump and the United States Congress Republicans in 2025.
Next question. Okay. Why did you cut SNAP and healthcare research?
We do not have unlimited money in the United States. In 2019, our country spent $60 billion on SNAP. During COVID, that number went to $100 billion. And for good reason. I mean, during COVID, we had a situation where we had a worldwide pandemic. We had people that couldn't work. There was a need for extra food, supplemental nutrition programs. What we did, this Congress, two things. We returned our spending on SNAP to our pre-pandemic level of 2019 at $60 billion. And we also said to states that have low error rates, and Nebraska has low error rates, that there's going to be incentive for states that do it right, and there's going to be a disincentive for states that have a high error rate. Now, you may disagree with the actual number we arrived at, but going from $60 billion one year to $100 billion the next year, that was the COVID pandemic. The pandemic is gone. People have gone back to work. We are now at the 2019 levels, which I think are acceptable. Next question.
Okay, and what is the national debt ceiling limit, and what is the current national debt?
Our current national debt is approaching $37 trillion. $37 trillion. In fact, to make that real for all of you, every Nebraska family pays about $3,000 of your hard-earned wages every year to service that debt. That's a kitchen table issue. That is a kitchen table issue. Every single Nebraska family pays $3,000 to service the debt.
Okay, we'll go to the audience for their first questions.
Okay, let's let her speak here, please.
All right. Our first question comes from this fine lady.
Hi, I implore you to be quiet so that we can hear his responses. Remember, Mike's coming up for a re-election, and we'd really like to know what his responses are. I'm Rosina. I write you emails with concerns of your voting behavior regarding Trump and his actions. You support him, especially confirming the cabinet. Your responses are riddled with misinformation and lies. I fact-check you, and then I send the responses back. And I get crickets. So I actually asked Deb through Carter, thank you, Carter, for answering the phone and being so very patient. I asked, who does the oversight for the fact-checking? Well, Deb Shore does. Deb Shore's a good human. I've known her for a long time. But our oversight of these emails need to be fact-checked. If I am fact-checking them because they are wrong in your response, I send them back to you, and I get crickets, I get kind of bummed. And this is not about partisan, this is about issues, because we're about to lose our democracy.
Well, first of all, I would tell you, I totally agree with you. Carter Smith from Shelby is a wonderful person, and Deb Shore does a lot of things in the office, but I don't want to put that all on her. There are people in my Washington office that also assist me as I write back to you. I don't know what emails you sent specifically because
There are plenty of them.
I'm sure. And here's what I would say to you. You are right as a constituent to want to go through this with me, and I will, with your help, talk to Deb. We will go through your emails, and we will go through my responses. You can come to my office, and we will sit down and go through every one of them. It may take me about 2 weeks,
Sir?
because I need to get all that done, okay?
Sir, you will need to do that with a lot of people.
Well, here's the deal. You came tonight. You asked me a question. I'm willing to do it with you because you matter. I represent you. I'm happy to sit down with you. I will add one thing. The United States House of Representatives does not confirm the cabinet. That belongs in the U.S. Senate, just for clarity, okay? Thank you very much for being here. Connect with Deb. I'm happy to sit down with you.
Congressman Flood, I come from 11 generations of military citizens who have served this nation. I've seen the long-term effects of service on veterans' health and on well-being. This budget reconciliation bill that you support threatens to cut all of their benefits and support programs that go along with that. How can you stand behind this bill that erodes the very services that people like me, my family, our families, and younger vets coming home today rely on to live decent, healthy lives?
Well, first of all, thank you for your service to the country, and thank you to the generations of service to the country.
Please,
At my
don't say
first
thank
town
you for
hall,
my
I had the
service if you voted
opportunity to...
against me.
At the first town hall, the main issue that I took away from that was concerns about veterans' benefits, not only in the proposed bill, but just with the new secretary coming in. I met personally with the Veterans Secretary. We went over everything, and I will tell you, our Veterans Affairs are going to be better than they've been in a long time under this president. The Secretary, we sat down for the better part of an hour, and I would have to get my notes from that meeting, but I asked a lot of questions that came from that Columbus town hall. And when the time is right, and I have that in front of me, I will go through that. But I truly believe that number one, our veterans served our country. They were made a promise that we will provide their health care. I have a record of supporting, as a member of the legislature, our state veterans homes, and I have a record in our Congress of supporting veterans, and I will be happy to get more information from the Secretary. If you have specific programs you're concerned about, please reach out to Taylor and get us that information. Thank you.
We have a next question right here.
My question is fiscal. With 450 million FEMA dollars being reallocated to open Alligator Alcatraz and 600 million taxpayer FEMA dollars being used to now open more concentration camps and ICE burning through $8.4 million a day to illegally detain people, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Americans went to the polls in November, and they had a choice between a Democratic candidate that had an open border, no enforcement, fentanyl, drugs, human trafficking. And they had a choice between that and a candidate that said, close the border, get illegal immigrants out of our country, stop the fentanyl, stop the human trafficking, stop the drugs, stop the crime, stop the violence. That's what Americans voted for. Americans voted for a border that is secure. And I support the president enforcing our immigration laws, which, by the way, were written by Congress.
Okay. Next question. Next question. So how can you justify taking health care away from 78,000 Nebraskans?
As I explained before, when you have an additional $700 million coming into the state of Nebraska for Nebraska hospitals, We have a state where our infrastructure is going to be supported, is going to be funded, and is going to be available for the people that need it. If you are able to work and you're 28 years old and you choose not to work, you don't get free health care in America. If you are in this country illegally, you do not get free health care in America.
Okay, next question is, economic development depends on energy development. The fastest, cheapest resources to bring online are wind, solar, and storage. Plus, we can produce it right here in Nebraska. What are you doing to promote our clean energy industry?
Good question. I think that's a great question. I believe in an all-of-the-above strategy for energy, which means nuclear as well. I agree with nuclear. As I'm from a part of the state where we have a lot of wind-generated power. I'm from a part of the state where we have solar power. There has to be a balance. And in our state, we have to make sure, and I love the battery storage idea. I think when battery storage becomes relevant and it works and it's there for Nebraskans, well, the technology isn't to the point where it can be used all the time. But here's the challenge. With artificial intelligence coming on the scene, it's going to take a lot more energy for us to meet our energy needs to be able to remain competitive with artificial intelligence. China is bringing on a whole bunch of new energy using coal. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily going to happen in America, but I'm saying we have to up our energy game. We have to up our energy game, which means small nuclear reactors, which I've been supportive since I've been in the legislature, permitting nuclear power plants, which has been very difficult. Wind and solar is always part of that array of opportunity, and not shutting down our coal plants when they provide consistent baseload generation of power all the time. So I think that's a very good question, and as Americans, what we need to do is we need to pick an energy policy. We need to put it in the statutes, in the code, so that industry, energy providers can count on that stability so that they can make long-term investments. The way it's gone from President Obama, he had to President Trump, to President Biden, there's been a regulatory whiplash every 4 years. Right or wrong, I'm just saying, energy providers aren't willing to make an investment when there's wild changes all the time.
Next question. Okay, next question. Why are you covering up the Epstein files?
Let's be very clear. At the next pro forma session of the Congress, you'll find my name as a sponsor on a resolution from the House Rules Committee to release the Epstein files to protect the victims and not re-victimize them again. I support Jamie Comer, who is the House's Oversight Committee Chairman, subpoenaing Ms. Maxwell later this month to come testify in Washington. I am for the release of those records.
We have a question right here.
So my comments are about the debt and how we can fix our debt. So tax U.S. stock trades, raise the Social Security cap to $400,000 and the Medicare rate to $200,000, eliminate corporate subsidies, especially for the military industrial complex, appropriately staff the IRS so they can target rich tax cheats, ignore the Grover Norquist contract that you signed and raise taxes on the rich, broaden the tax base by closing loopholes, the carried interest offshore tax havens, and adjust rates on high earners. And there's more, but...
That's quite the Christmas list. You got a lot of stuff on there. I will receive that as input. I don't exactly know where I'd even start answering that question other than We cut next to $2 trillion of federal spending with the bill we passed, and we protected Medicaid.
Next question.
Question right here.
There's a saying that silence is complicity. Your silence tells us that you have no problem with the January 6th attack on the Capitol, the pardoning of all those involved, the big lie about the 2020 election with absolutely no evidence. These are all markers. These are markers of fascism. I have read a dozen or so books on authoritarianism and fascism. You said in Seward that you were not a fascist. Your complicity says otherwise. Have you ever spoken out against this administration and its Project 2025, which is a fascist machine? Have you ever spoken out? There are a number of people, it's been reported many times in the news that there are a number of our colleagues, Republican colleagues, who do not like this man and they speak against him behind closed doors in private. Maybe you're one of them. There is a thing, profiles encourage. Why don't any of you, because you know better, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Sir, I want to be very clear with you. Give me a chance to answer his question, I'd be happy to. Fascists don't hold town halls with open question and answer series. And I will tell you this, I support law enforcement, and what happened on January 6, 2021 was not right, and I'm on the record saying so. I'm sure you can Google it, but I support law enforcement. I have prided myself on supporting law enforcement since I began as a member of the Judiciary Committee in 2005, and we started working on child sexual assault. We started working on the sex offender registry. We started working on all of these different DWI laws to make our streets safer. I believe in law enforcement. I believe in the rule of law. I believe in the rule of law. It matters to me. We have a lot of people that need to know when I see something that I don't agree with, I don't run to the TV station as my first stop. I try to stop it before it gets worse. I try to stand up and go to work to represent the people that I have in this district. And sir, I believe in law enforcement. Thank you.
Next question.
All right, we have another question right here.
I believe in fair taxation, but I disagree with personally benefiting at the expense of lower-income Nebraska citizens. Trump is a pathological liar, and citizens can't believe a word that comes from the convicted felon's mouth. Keeping Nebraska in mind, what actions are you going to support or initiate that will provide health care and food assistance for low-income families, protect Medicare, not increase the national debt, unmask the ICE terrorists, close Alligator Auschwitz, and impeach Trump if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell?
We protected Medicaid and saved taxpayers millions of dollars from waste, fraud, and abuse. This program, over the long term, will spend way too much money that we cannot afford if we don't protect it for those that need it. There are vulnerable people that need Medicaid. There are pregnant women that need Medicaid. There are folks that need to be in a nursing home that need Medicaid. We need to figure out how to keep more people in their home receiving care because we can't afford everybody going to the nursing home. So, sir, we, in my opinion, as your representative, with the $700 million coming into the state, the $50 billion rural hospital fund that we worked on, and the common sense protections of requiring people to work if they want free health care and no illegal immigrants getting health care for free, I think that's entirely reasonable.
Okay, next question. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. How are farmers supposed to survive as a result of this budget bill?
Well, I'll tell you what, and I actually have this number right here. We actually, and it was in one of my slides, 1 year ago, almost to this day, we were at the State Chamber fly-in, and I was the first in our congressional delegation to sound the alarm about the farm economy. I've been talking to community bankers across this state that are worried that a lot of our producers, with corn at $3.80 a bushel and soybeans down from what they should be and higher inputs, are going to have trouble making their payments. And I started to talking to local bankers about what this year's operational notes renewal would be. We made it. We made it through that. Actually, that's not true. I'll talk to you about that in a second. In December, we provided $10 billion in economic aid to America's farmers, mostly for the American Southeast, Georgia, Mississippi, those states. I tell you what, though, I am worried about next year for our farmers and ranchers. I am worried about it. And let me tell you a couple of things that we did do. We put a $59 billion increase for the Ag Safety Net programs, which is a $9 billion increase over the prior fiscal year. And you're not going to like this next part, some of you, but President Biden did no trade deals in 4 years. He did not stand up for Nebraska farmers when it came to white corn and the ban from the Mexican president's wife. Farmers and ranchers in this state are going to get a far better deal from Donald Trump's trade negotiations than we ever got under President Biden. And this is the only way to improve our chances to grow our farm income.
Okay, next question. Okay, next question is, what specific action are you taking to defund or continued support to Israel and their aggressions on the West Bank and genocide against Palestinians living in Gaza?
I have said from the start, what happened on October 8th was an abomination. Well, October 7th, sorry. I support Israel. America has no better ally than Israel. And they have every right to root out Hamas and these evil terrorists, whether they're in Gaza, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's the Houthis, whether it's the Iranians. They live under threat of nuclear and vicious attack every single day. I also believe that our country, working with Israel, needs to do everything we can to get those children food. No American wants any child, no matter the place they live, to ever suffer. But you got to remember, we're dealing with Hamas. They use these Palestinians as human shields in their pursuit of terror and destruction against Israelis. So I support Israel. I support Israel. I support Israel.
Next question. Next question. How do you intend to ensure the accuracy of reporting on job and economic statistics?
I don't know what the situation was with the Department of Labor person. Neither do you. I don't know. I don't know. I can tell you, I've been an employer for a lot of years, and there's always two sides to every story. And I don't know what that side was. I will say this, though. If all that person did was get the data out there, if all that, and I don't know that's the case, but if that's all they did, I would not have fired her. I mean, to be honest, but I don't know because things are complicated. It's easy to listen to a 30-second story on TV and think that you know all the details. I don't know all the details. But I'm sure we will be talking about that when I get back to Washington in September.
Thank you. Next question from the audience, please. Next question from the audience.
We have a question right here.
Yes, first of all, I'd ask you please not to refer it to that monstrosity as the big, beautiful bill.
It's the name of the bill, though.
We know better. We know better. My question concerns veterans. Again, I asked you in March about cuts for veterans, cuts that will hurt veterans. I didn't really find your answer to the gentleman earlier adequate. How are cuts to the VA going to improve VA services? Also, what about the thousands of veterans who have lost their federal positions? And what about how that big, ugly bill, let me finish. How about how that big, ugly bill is going to disproportionately affect veterans who need SNAP and other benefits? Finally, what about the veterans who are seeing family members who have done nothing wrong being picked up by masked ICE agents?
Okay, so first of all,
my question
to
is
your
this.
first point there,
When are
the
you
bill
gonna
is actually
stand
called
up?
the One Big Beautiful Bill, and I'm not going to tiptoe around what the answers are because that's the bill that passed. And when President Biden passed the Inflation Reduction Act, that's what we called it, even though it did the opposite. As it relates to the VA cuts, what specific cut are you talking about so I can understand? Give me a specific example.
It is specifically general cuts in the VA's overall budget. I want to know, when are you going to stand up to the bully in chief and his disrespectful, un-American, cruel cuts that hurt our veterans?
See, this issue came up in Columbus in May, and I went to the Veterans Secretary. And the system, when we're done, will be better for veterans, it will be more efficient, and we'll have better services. I am confident of that. You cannot cite a specific program because I went to him specifically and said, show me where these cuts are. We went through it, I've got the data, I've got the notes, I've got all the information I need. And I will be very public about showing you what is happening with veterans as soon as I get the opportunity to avail myself of my notes. But I am very confident. President Trump, this Congress, the Veterans Administration, we are working hard for veterans, and we will deliver for veterans. We are protecting veterans, we are protecting Medicaid, we are getting results, and we are pursuing growth. That is what's happening right now. Protection, results, and growth. Thank you.
Okay. Next question, Taylor. Next question, Taylor.
Sorry.
Congressman Flood, as the president of the UNL College Republicans, thank you for being here. And these first 8 months of President Trump's has been a momentous occasion for young people looking for job opportunities, buying houses, and starting families. How are we going to continue the momentum that we've made for our next generation and keep the promise of the American dream?
Thanks for coming tonight. It's nice to have you here. You know, one of the challenges we have right now in America is that a lot of people his age want to own a home, and it's getting harder and harder and harder. And there's a variety of reasons that happens. Right? Number one, whose home insurance premium went up this year? Mine. Okay, we all did. What's driving that? Two things: weather peril and third-party litigation. Third-party litigation. This is where a foreign government sovereign growth fund can come into a Georgia state court, hand a plaintiff's lawyer $1.5 million, and that plaintiff's lawyer suddenly has all the experts they ever needed They game the system for a $20 million verdict and they walk away with $10 million. That's what's happening in our property and casualty space right now. These aren't partisan issues. These are issues that we have to solve as Americans. Today, I toured a project here in Lincoln where NeighborWorks Lincoln is building 12 units. 12 units on space where only 3 could have been built before. And they're excited about the One Big Beautiful Bill's affordable housing tax credits that get increased under the law, which are used by a lot of folks here in Lincoln. And by the way, your mayor and city council, they set a goal of 5,000 new units by 2030. They are halfway there, and this city will see more housing growth, more affordable housing growth, more market rate housing, and more affordable housing with a price point of $200,000 because of the resources that they're currently using. Thank you.
One more question.
We have a question right here.
God bless you, Congressman Flood, for doing this and what you endured. Congratulations on your nomination to the chair of the Main Street Caucus. Can you please tell us how this position will benefit Nebraskans?
Thank you very much for that question. So you might have read in the paper, I was recently unanimously elected by 83 members of the Republicans in the House to chair the Main Street Caucus, which is a group of people that meet weekly, sometimes a couple times a week, to talk about where we want to go in the House of Representatives. And we believe in passing a budget. We believe in appropriators appropriating money. We believe in medical research. We believe in ag research. We believe in science research. I want you to know that. We also believe in a balanced budget. We believe in a strong, secure border. We believe in protecting Medicaid, getting results, and growing our country. And so with this new role that I have, I will have an opportunity more often to interact with the White House, with the cabinet secretaries, to interact with my Democratic colleagues that are in leadership, to deliver for the people of Nebraska and specifically the 1st District. I appreciate the question. I'm honored to do it, and I hope it results in results for all of you, and we can move this country forward. Thank you.
Okay, next question is from this.
Oh, okay.
Representative Flood, I was born and raised here, and I'm a full-time student at UNL. So the recent $20 million in cuts due to declining federal and state funding is deeply concerning to me. With ongoing efforts from Trump administration to dismantle the Department of Education and reduce support who will protect and grow funding for Nebraska's public universities. And if the state is also struggling to fund education due to budget deficits, who makes up the shortfalls? Are we working families, students expected to foot the bill?
So, it's a very good question. I've always been a big supporter of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I attended college here. I had a great education. My number one legislative priority is getting money for the USDA Ag Research Service. I have met with your professors. I've urged them to stay on the job, to go through this transition with us. We need precision agriculture. I met today with one of your physics professors to talk about this. I believe in the research funding. In some cases, this funding has been temporarily paused. More often than not, that's what's going on. But I will tell you this, there's been a lot of money without much oversight for too long in this country, and there's waste, fraud, and abuse out there. And so you have to deal with it. You have to deal with it. I will tell you this, I am at bat for the University of Nebraska-Lincoln every single day. I'm at bat for our community colleges. I'm at bat for Concordia University in Seward. I go to work for all of these people. They matter to me. Education matters. Universities matter. UNL is important. It's one of the economic drivers of this state. So is UNO. So are our state colleges. And if you check my record, I have been a supporter of post-secondary education since I got into the legislature.
Okay, next question. Next question. You're the Housing Subcommittee Chair. What can be done to make housing cheaper?
Well, there's a lot of things that we have to deal with right now, and most notably, making housing cheaper. There's a lot of people paying more in their property taxes and their insurance premium than in their principal and interest. That's one challenge we have. We have seen 20% inflation since 2020, which has made it harder. We need to do some innovative things, I think. One of those is we need to start collecting credit information on renters who pay their rental bill every month. We need to start collecting it on those that pay their cell bill every month. It's hard to get credit sometimes in your 20s. And there's a way to do it now with artificial intelligence and all the technology out there, and I totally support that. We increased the affordable housing LIHTC tax credits, which is a big start. That was in the One Big Beautiful Bill. And I have a bill that I'm marking up on a bipartisan basis with Emmanuel Cleaver from Kansas City, the ranking member, longtime Democrat, former mayor of Kansas City, that I think will make it easier to access the close to $3 billion in federal money that cities like Lincoln and Omaha and Seward and Norfolk and Columbus get. So the Senate just passed unanimously, almost, a housing bill. We're going to pass one in the House. I'm leading it. Hopefully in October, November, we'll be able to come to terms between the two chambers and present the president with a bill for his signature.
Okay. Next question is, Democrats have labeled the OBBB as a disaster. Please explain why they are wrong.
Well, I think I've done a good job tonight of giving you my opinion on the One Big Beautiful Bill. Hey, is any bill perfect? No. Is any bill going to get everybody to sign on and say yes? But this bill did pass. It was signed by the president. And just like the major achievements of prior administrations, this one will provide certainty to Americans on what their taxes will be going into 2026. And this includes a continuation of the tax cuts. The bill protects Medicaid. It gets results, and it's pro-growth.
Okay. Taylor, questions from
We have a question right here.
Howdy. Thank you for being here, Congressman Flood, but I do have a question. Outside, roughly 10 minutes before we were let in, you went up to me, I shook your hand, I looked you in the eyes, and you immediately pivoted to somebody else to talk to. Why are you unwilling to talk to someone in my age?
I'm not. I didn't mean to do that.
You immediately pivot, then your gentleman
I shook your
over
hand,
there
for God's
walked
sakes. Like,
the
you were
photo
standing there with some other
shoot
people.
that saw me
Now
discuss
you're
them.
here. What do you want to talk about?
I want to ask, why does it seem like when you make your voting decisions, they're based on capital rather than the working class? Billionaires and corporations got their tax issues enshrined into law forever, but the working class gets a no tax on tips or overtime that only applies to some of us, and now we wind up in a situation where we are.
With all due respect, sir, the Republican Party, now more than ever, represents the heart and soul of the working class. So you go out to dinner after this, and your hard-working server gets a tip. Thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill, she doesn't have to pay taxes on it. 88% of Americans are going to get relief on paying taxes on their Social Security. They've earned it. We did the same thing at the Nebraska legislature. We've increased the standard deduction. And here's the one I think is the most important for the working class. We increased the child tax credit to $2,200 a year. That, my friends, is going to work for the working class of America.
We have another question right here.
Congressman, a lot's been talked about Medicaid, healthcare, etc. A lot of countries in the world, Europe, Canada, they have healthcare for the people there. Outside, just now you said, you don't want to see a lazy 28-year-old get healthcare, whatever. My point is, every working and retired American should be entitled to health care. Would you sign on or write up a bill for Medicare for all? We've got Medicare now. we can start rolling back the age 5, 10 years at a time. Would you support that?
We can't afford that.
Yes, you can.
We protected Medicaid as the safety net for those who cannot care for themselves, who are vulnerable, for those who are able-bodied and working. I will tell you this, and I cannot take any credit for it, President Trump is going to bring down prescription prices because the countries you mentioned have been paying way too little for way too long, and we've been subsidizing them. And if we as a country I want to pay the same price for the drugs that are in London as they are in Lincoln. And that has not happened for a long time. We've been subsidizing these foreign governments and their socialized health care. This will get solved by President Trump. It will mark the biggest change in healthcare spending in 50 years, and I'm confident that's where we're going.
All right, we have another question. We have another question right here.
Thank you, Congressman. I too have served 22 years in the United States Marine Corps, and so I have a
Thank you.
Thank you for your service. So I have a specific question for veterans benefits and a local issue. Can you look into Southeast Community College imposing the vaccine requirement on students through clinical requirements that are accepting VA funding for students enrolled in the PTA program? So, for example given, President Trump signed the COVID higher education, stay away from this, and and so we're using VA funding.
Sure.
And that's a requirement for the program.
Okay.
And so I was a victim in the Marine Corps of the COVID requirement. That's why I got out.
I'm sorry about that. Has that been all rectified since you...
I couldn't be happier. My son is now serving, and so I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for this great nation. I just would ask that you look into that.
Yes, we will look at it. Let's connect. Where's Carter at? Carter wears a dark suit, so it's going to be hard for me to see him here. But Carter, can you make your way over here and visit with him, and we'll find that out. And I'll tell you what, thanks for your service. I've talked to a lot of service members that refused to get the COVID vaccine, and they were fired. And President Trump has done his part to restore their position and their back pay. We should not force people to take vaccines. We should encourage them.
We have another question right here.
Given your full-throated support of the bill, whatever we call it, and your view of the facts, I'd like to know how you expect to pay back all of this debt that is going to be layered onto our grandchildren because we're not willing to make our rich part of our society pay their fair share.
So what's interesting about that, and I think it's a fair question, two things are happening here. People in here are upset with me that I voted to cut $2 trillion in spending from the budget. You're also upset at me because I have told you at every single town hall it is going to be a combination of spending reductions and economic growth. It will take both to do it. This is exactly how President Obama looked at it in 2012. It's how President Trump and the Congress looked at it in 2017. We cannot simply cut our way out of this. We have to reduce our spending. We have to continue the tax cuts, and we have to grow the economy. Protect, results, growth. That's what we need.
Okay, next question. How much longer
Hang on a second.
How much longer until the border wall is finished?
We cannot build it soon enough. We need the border wall. I support the border wall. Americans support the border wall. Americans want a secure border. It's always going to be a challenge anytime you're dealing with a lot of different landowners. But the One Big Beautiful Bill does increase funding to get that done, which was a priority under the first Trump administration.
Okay. Next question. I know you've talked a little bit about this.
I'm sorry?
I know you've talked a little bit about this, but what plans does the Congress have for providing reasonable cost health insurance to Nebraskans?
Well, one of the ways to bring down our commercial private payer insurance is to not have as many people on Medicaid. Because what happens? Medicaid pays a much lower reimbursement rate than a commercial payer does. And so when there's a difference between those two, the commercial payer ends up paying more and more and more to make up for the difference. Money does not fall out of the sky. It does not grow on trees. It comes from all of you. And you pay your health insurance. I wish there was a world we could live in where everything came from the government and it was free. But that will never, ever, ever happen. By the way, I do not believe that, but I do think, though, when you look at keeping our personal private, for those of you who are on commercial payer private health insurance, you're seeing 20% increases. And why is that? Because we've extended Medicaid to so many people who refuse to work, people who don't want to go to work, people that are illegal. And when you do that, everybody else has to pay. Somebody always has to pay. That's the way it works. It would be great to come to a town hall and have an answer that everybody would agree with, but that is the reality of our situation. The more you make healthcare free, the more everybody else with private pay insurance also has to pay. That's also why we're giving the hospitals $700 million to help cover that thing, and then the $50 billion for the rural hospitals. They need the money. They're going to get the money. They're going to remain open, and they're going to provide quality care to Nebraskans, and to those who can't afford it, they will get it. We will protect Medicaid. I protected Medicaid. The Big Beautiful Bill protects Medicaid.
Okay. What are the plans to continue service provided by Department of Education, especially special ed and best practices and Pell Grants?
Can you repeat the first part of that again?
Yeah. What are the plans to continue service provided by Department of Education?
Well, special education always needs to be funded. When I was in the legislature, it's the best investment for our state tax dollars. When you invest in special education, not only are you helping those school districts that are taking care of special education kids, you're also distributing the money as equally and as equitably as you can possibly do it through the TIOSA formula. So I do strongly believe in funding special education. I have not had that specific issue arrive on my desk, but if I hear something, or if there is something out there about special education funding, I will go to work on that. That really matters to me. And those parents need that resource. And there are some districts like Lincoln and Bellevue that do such a good job with special education. They have a lot of people move into the district to take advantage of your resources here. Lincoln Public Schools is an excellent school district, and its special education services are excellent. And so I want to make sure that they have the resources, and sometimes a Bellevue or a Lincoln or one of the hub communities, they need more than maybe even their district would suggest, because people move in there to receive the services. So yes, I do care about that. I will work on that.
The second part to that question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a second part to the question, Pell Grants. What are your plans for Pell Grants?
I'm for Pell Grants. I'm for Pell Grants. I'm for higher education. I have not had that issue cross my desk on Pell Grants. I know that we made some changes with student loans. I do think people have to pay back their student loans, and I supported that. One thing I want to say is I know that this can be kind of loud in here sometimes, but I want to talk to the people at home for just a second. I'm on your side. I never forget who I'm working for. people in this room are important, but everybody in this state has a voice. Everybody in this district has a voice. And there's a lot of people in this state that like the direction that this country is going. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying we can never do better. But I'm here to listen to you. And the other benefit of me being here is that I know when I choose how to vote that I am ultimately accountable to you. Because I work for you. And I will never forget that I work for you. Which means no matter your position, no matter your ask, no matter the casework you suggest, I will go to bat to fight for you. I will work to agree with you when I can, and I will do my best to explain my votes when I don't agree with you.
Okay, we'll go to the
We have a question right here.
In June, the transfer case in my car failed.
Pardon? Can you start over? I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to tell you. In June, the transfer case in my car failed. I looked to get it repaired, but the price of the part had increased 30% since the start of the year, driven primarily by tariffs. With my car totaled, I started looking for a new car. In the 2 weeks I spent looking, I watched prices increase 10 to 15% on a variety of vehicles. The impact of tariffs had arrived. The car I settled on increased 12%. This is more than any tax savings I will see from the bill that was recently passed over the course of the next 10 years. When you return to D.C., will you enforce Congress's power over tariffs granted under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution? Will you protect average Americans like me?
Okay, I didn't get the second part, but I'll answer the first part. We'll come back to it. We need to be a country that makes things. And we found out during COVID that our supply chains were failing us. We want more American workers. We want to reinvigorate American manufacturing, which means we have to have free but fair trade. Why is it that we have to sell our cars into Europe at a high tariff rate and they sell into our market at much less? If we're going to fix this, it's going to require some decisions that may be temporary, but as we saw during the first Trump administration, our relationship, our trading relationship with Canada and Mexico and China improved, which meant more money for American farmers, better deals for manufacturers. We just have to onshore more jobs in America, and we need to be a nation that makes things.
Next question.
God bless you, Congressman Flood. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
There's been some exciting things happening on the world stage as far as trade. What are the ones that excite you the most?
I met with pork producers that were excited about opening our markets up for pork in Vietnam. I think we're on the cusp of doing something big eventually with India, which is 1 billion plus people, and we want to be in their markets. Vietnam is going somewhere. We have great conversations right now with Mexico and their president, who is engaging with President Trump. Listen, nobody in this room wants anything but the best for America. Republicans want the best for America. Democrats want the best for America. Independents want the best for America. Right now, your government is run by a Republican Congress and a Republican president, and we will get there. We will get there.
We have another question right here. We have another question.
Hello.
Hi. I want to thank you, but I also want to thank Nebraska Public Media for holding this. And I want to thank them for still doing this, even though they're not being funded by my tax dollars, which I would support. But my question is, it's easy to talk about healthcare research, and yet when the current administration attacks my alma mater, Harvard, it attacks Duke, it attacks USC, UCLA, the first place they cut is NIH grants. So why are you targeting? Do you somehow think that preventing cancer
supports anti-Semitism, which is the goal of those cuts?
I care about the NIH grants. I do. I care about the NIH grants. I want us to pass a budget so that Congress can express itself through our Appropriations Committee, because in talking to the Republicans that I work with on a daily basis, we support what you support. And I want that in the budget, and I want our Article 1 authority to be respected, and I want that money to go to the places it's doing the best good, and I want that funding for research. So I hear you. I will say, and this is neither here nor there, some of the institutions that you talked about had a very poor record when it came to anti-Semitism that we saw from their presidents, which has resulted in presidents losing their jobs. So that is the truth. Like, that is something we dealt with. But the bigger issue here is, what do Americans want? Americans want cures for cancer. Americans want the best therapies. Americans want to know that researchers are working around the clock to address Alzheimer's, which is taking more and more and more of our country, and dementia, and all these other things. I support that. And one of the things that I think we have to do in Congress is we are in charge of the money. We are in charge of passing a budget. That is Article 1.
We have another question right here.
So I'd like to first start with a fact check. In the last administration for this president, our tax dollars subsidized farmers because of the tariffs. You didn't create selling their product. Specifically on taxes and the IRS, I want to know why you didn't protect us under the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, specifically when DOJ was having unfettered access to our data. We don't know what's happened to it. I sent you information. I brought lots of papers to your office, to your people. I got a canned response. And I'd like to know what your opinion is of the IRS commissioner, and that he is an accountant, he doesn't hold a CPA, he didn't graduate with a 4-year degree, and no one realizes that he's running the IRS. And
I'm not personally familiar with him.
And
Not personally familiar with him. I don't know him personally. I can tell you that I went to bat for our taxpayers with the Treasury Secretary when this whole thing started, and it concerned the IRS and a number of different agencies. We have exercised congressional oversight from the Financial Services Committee perspective. We have, not everything is done on CNN. Not everything is done on Fox News. And quite frankly, if you want to get things done in Washington, running your mouth on TV every single night doesn't really do anything other than maybe get you more donations, maybe. But taxpayer information must be protected. Taxpayer information must be protected.
Next question.
Okay.
Okay, one of the barriers to home ownership here in Nebraska is the high cost of insurance, and as you are Chair of Housing and Insurance Subcommittee, can you talk about what you are doing to address that?
Well, I won't go over this too long. We talked about it before. There's two big issues. Weather peril. We've seen, our state we are now classified as a severe convective storm state, which means we're rated about the same as Florida or Louisiana from their hurricanes. And you know what this is going to require us to do? It's going to require Nebraskans to put impact-resistant roofing on their home. It's going to require us to use resilient materials in our siding, because there's no way around this other than to abate the risk. The other part is that third-party litigation that I talked about before. It's actually driving our reinsurance costs through the roof. And when you put those two things together, we saw on average a 60% increase in our home insurance premiums last year. And there is no bill we can pass on the first one, because weather is going to win every time. On the second one, we need to shut down this third-party litigation in our court system and stop the gaming of that. So thank you.
Okay, next question. Who will pay for the cost of implementing Medicaid work requirements? It costs Georgia $100 million and Arkansas $24 million.
Well, the good news in Nebraska is Our Medicaid program and its error rate and their ability to root out waste, fraud, and abuse, we have a state law since 2008. If you're here illegally, you're not getting Medicaid. And number two, when you have an unemployment rate below 3%, almost everybody that's here has a job. So this is not going to impact Nebraska like it's going to impact states like California, like it's going to impact states like New York. That's where they've been handing out free health care to illegal immigrants for a long time. That's where people choose not to work and they get free health care. We all end up paying that, but that's not Nebraska. That's not Nebraska. I'm not saying there isn't waste, fraud, and abuse that can't be eliminated, but we are far ahead of the game on that. We protected Medicaid. We protected Medicaid.
Okay, what is your plan to ensure Medicare doesn't get cut further?
Okay, so there's a question. What's your plan to ensure Medicare doesn't get cut further? Our bill did not cut Medicare. If you were over the age of 65, this bill did not impair in any way. It protects Medicare. It didn't touch Medicare. We've talked a lot about Medicaid, but to those watching at home, if you are over the age of 65, regardless of your income, you are eligible and qualified for Medicare.
Okay, we'll go out here.
We have a question right here.
Thank you, Congressman. My name's Chris Backemeyer. I'm a fifth-generation Nebraskan, and until recent events, I was working in senior national security roles in Washington at the National Security Council and the State Department.
Thank you.
I worked for Democrats, Republicans over 20 years, faithfully, worked on counterterrorism issues, on the Iran nuclear program. And throughout that time, I always tried to spend some time thinking about how average Nebraskans, people like my family, teachers, farmers, grandparents, parents, how those decisions would impact those people. So I'm back in Lincoln now, and I wanted to see what my representative was doing for the people of Lincoln. And I see this new bill that transfers trillions of dollars of wealth from working class Americans, people that are sitting in this room, to billionaires that don't even live in this state. And so my question is, I know who I work for, but who do you work for? You work for billionaires out of state or people in this room?
When you look at the bill, this was a middle-class tax cut. This bill is a middle-class tax cut. It's absolutely true. $1,600 to $2,700 a year. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security. No tax on... I mean, when you ask working class Americans where they are in this, they support the one big beautiful bill. Working class Americans support this. We increase the standard deduction.
We have about 4 minutes remaining, and this is our next question.
You said.
I brought with me tonight the Lincoln Journal-Star from July 16th, 2012. The headline is Flood Considers Run for Governor. The story here was that you were challenging your party because you voted to override Heinemann's veto of legislation that would provide prenatal medical care for, it says, babies of mothers who may be in the country illegally. He viewed that as an illegal immigration issue. You called it pro-life. Now you are saying that you don't want...
I will always support prenatal care for
Nebraska's,
any woman in this state on our Medicaid program. I am pro-life, and I chose,
mortality.
you know, when you're in my spot, you've got to pick between two sides. I pick the side of that pregnant mother.
Campaign flyer, and this says you paid $50 billion for rural hospitals when they need $137 billion. This is just a Band-Aid till the next election.
But in Nebraska, they're getting $700 million in a state of 2 million people. A state of 2 million people, they're getting $700 million. Where are we at on time?
We have about 3 minutes left.
I got to make sure I hit my 627. Where's my guy with the cue card?
Right here.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yes, sir. Congressman,
regarding your opening comments and the slides that you had on your televisions, I didn't rehearse this question, but when I saw those, I was surprised. H.R. 1 does, in fact, address Medicare. So my question is, did you read the bill?
I read the bill. I read the bills. Is every bill perfect? No, but I supported this bill. By the way, I think this is important. I cannot stress it enough because I think there's a lot of information out there that's wrong. We protected Medicaid. We cut $2 trillion out of the future debt. We worked to get results, and this bill builds for growth. Here's the deal. I want to say a couple things. Thank you to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. Thank you to the UNL Police. Thank you to my staff. Thank you to Nebraska Public Media for doing a great job tonight. Thank you to all the members of the working media that are here. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. If you need assistance from my office, call my office, come see me. I will be visible, I will be accessible. And for those of you watching from home, please know I am on your side. I never forget who I'm working for. And it is an honor to serve you and a privilege to serve you and the United States Congress. Thank you very much, and have a safe drive home.